Mabuhay, this is Eleanor Fernandez, and I'm here with renowned historian Kirby Araullo. And so we're going to talk about your reaction videos to the trailer to Trece.
So Netflix animated series Trece, based on the popular Filipino graphic novel Trece. I actually preferred watching it in Filipino or Tagalog. There are meanings that I feel like was lost in the English version of it, even though originally Trece is actually written in English and it had to translate in Tagalog. But there were some parts of it that I really felt like it meant more if you understand the language. I also applaud the people behind the animation, that they made sure that all the spells, all the enchantments are said in Tagalog regardless of what language it is.
So there are many old folklores. This is my second question. That you intro. So the White Lady, the Aswang, Nuno, and introducing the Babayan and Lanak. And so how do you feel introducing this to a new generation of people in this way, in this media, in anime even too?
It's great that we're introducing our mythical beings like the Aswangs, even the Balete, the White Lady, to a newer generation, to a younger generation, especially in the diaspora. Even in the Philippines, I spent my childhood in the Philippines. We grew up just watching Japanese animations, American animations, and we do have talented Filipino animations, but they don't get much support from the mainstream media. So it's exciting that a big giant like Netflix decided to pick it up. Yeah, so it's exciting to see that they're introducing all these mythical beings to the younger generation, so that they can, if they did not grow up. It's fun for those who grew up, learning these stories or hearing these stories as a young kid to relive those stories and see it in the mainstream animation. But it's also more exciting for me to have the younger generation, especially in the diaspora, who are not exposed to these stories, to have something that they can call their own. So that they can, it's a step closer to reconnecting to their roots.
The bigger question is who would want to kill a ghost and why?
I think it was great that they have a strong female lead, Alexandra. And I also love the fact that her mother, although in the story she doesn't really appear as much, but when she appears, it's something important, it's something that's big, it's something that's very significant in the storyline. And they showed that the mom is a babaylan too, like a mother, a protector, a spiritual leader.
Your videos are always pretty vibrant, and I love all the snapping you do, and you make it look history really accessible. And so as an educator and culture bearer, you devote your time so passionately to it. As an educator and a culture bearer, how does teaching history feel like to you when you're trying to imbue that?
In terms of making history accessible, that's actually a very big passion of mine, to make it more accessible. Because I actually started my YouTube when YouTube started, 2005. So I had different videos back then. It was more because I did study filmmaking in high school and college, so it was more like my projects and skits, and trying to chase that audience on YouTube. Like, I want to be that famous YouTube person. But it wasn't as I did history educational videos that I actually got more following and more audience. I'm sure you're familiar with the youth conferences that the different colleges do for Filipino youth in the US. So we do it too in UC Davis. And whenever I do a workshop for the students, for the high school students, they always ask me like, Kuya, where can we read more? And then whenever I recommend a book, I realize like, wait, that book is not in their, they're high school students. They don't have access to the UC system. So that's when I actually started making shorter videos, so I can share what I know, so that more people would learn about them. So that's how it started. It was mainly for Philam high school students. They tend to forget that studying history is not just about the this fancy things in the past, but really it's about learning the lessons from our ancestors. Knowing about our roots doesn't really mean this like nostalgic feeling or longing for the glitz and glamour, for the golds of our ancestors in the past, and while at the same time ignoring our present conditions. For me, it's learning learning about our ancestors' wisdoms, and don't just take it as face value. And learning about their mistakes too, and apply it to the present, and how we can make a better society.